flee or trying to leave the country. Alam naman natin under the rules of court, ang service ay dalawa lang yan, yung personal service or substituted service. As of November 15, nung late afternoon nung November 15, nung inisyu po ng Supreme Court yung TRO, wala ho kaming natanggap. It was only the next day. And another thing is that, so it was more of a hurried attempt or premature attempt on the part of the former president. They claimed to have a copy of the TRO, but they seem to have failed to recognize that that TRO was conditional. Kaya nga po nung 3 days later, nung November 18, nagpulong uli yung nag-session or nagpulong uli ang Supreme Court and precisely to tackle that matter. That as of November 15 and even 3 days later, wala pa hong full compliance with the conditions set forth in the TRO. So paano ko po ba masasabi na I defied that TRO? Why am I now being questioned or vilified for something that is not supported by the facts? So there is no defiance.
Thank you po for clarifying that. Those who have nominated you for the position attribute their motive to their nominating you to their desire to restore public confidence in the Supreme Court, and this is articulated in their nomination letters. Do you think there is indeed such a loss of confidence in the Supreme Court? And if there is, how will you restore that confidence?
It's really a difficult question. I would not want to make a very sweeping conclusion or statement on that. Rather, I would say that yes, there are times or there are actions on the part of the Supreme Court which tend to lose the people's faith and trust in the judiciary. Not only the members of the Supreme Court, but also the members of the judiciary as a whole. But there are moments, there are cases, there are actions on the part of the Supreme Court which are laudable and worthy of commendation from the general public. Now, yes, I think the challenge now for the new Chief Justice is to how to really restore complete trust and confidence of the general public. And I'd like to say that the Chief Justice, who is expected to regain or to improve the level of faith of the public in the judiciary, may not necessarily be or have that type of persona that conventional wisdom has prescribed for such a post. The Chief Justice, it's not enough for a Chief Justice to be the embodiment of, it's not enough for him to be perceived as something that is someone who is unreachable or untouchable or with limitless or unfathomable wisdom. No, it's not. People nowadays have shown the tendency to invest and be interested in the affairs of government, including the judiciary. And therefore, we need a Chief Justice who, while maintaining a high sense of independence and impartiality, is not perceived to be out of touch with the needs of the public. A Chief Justice, yes, must be wise, but wisdom is not necessarily equated to, really getting all the right answers or being fully acquainted with laws and jurisprudence, but more so that he is able to come up with well-reasoned decision and actions that are, at the very least, perceived by majority of the people as credible and bona fide. Thank you.
As my final question po, there is a notion, rightly or wrongly, that a Chief Justice or a member of the Supreme Court should have a masteral or a doctoral degree, Kasi yung nakalipas po, merong mga Harvard degree, and other prestigious universities. Do you think a masteral or a graduate study degree should be considered in determining the competence of a Chief Justice? Thank you.
I missed that point. I wanted to say that also, that in my opinion, it's not a matter of having numerous academic credentials. It's not a matter of getting more diplomas. It's not a matter of writing books and be associated with institutional or educational institutions. To me, what is foremost, what is most vital is the character of the person. I can say that all of us, all the nominees for this crucial post are, in their own right, qualified. Some would have a certain advantage over the other, but definitely qualified. Each of us has his or her own weaknesses and strengths. So what would be most crucial in terms of perceiving what type of a Chief Justice one can be is his or her character. It's actually a rare breed. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck po. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
Salamat din po.
Justice Lagman.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Secretary, good morning or good afternoon. So, Secretary, what do you think is the advantage, if any, of having a lady like you sit as a Chief Justice?
Good question, but difficult question in light of the position I articulated earlier, the gender equality, about the gender equality. But, you know, as a lady Chief Justice, I think I'd like to say, this may be a bit cliche, but I'd like to say that I would have the passion to be able to discharge the mandate conscientiously and with fealty to the Constitution and the rule of law.
Okay. So if you will be appointed, you will be the first lady Chief Justice in the country. And what do you think are your strong qualities which would give you the moral ascendancy to lead the court?
Strong qualities
As
as
a lady. Yeah.
Chief Justice. Well, may I just say again that I tend to be passionate and I tend to really put so much zeal and dedication to any and all assignments that are given to me. And it's the strength of character. Maybe it's in the genes and maybe it's in the type of upbringing that especially my father as a role model has shown to me. We are very conscious of, we know exactly what is right, what is wrong. We know exactly when to fight for your own ideals in life.
Okay, Secretary. Considering that the Chief Justice is seen as the face of the judiciary, is it important to you, if you will be the Chief Justice, to perform well in public satisfaction surveys?
Definitely, Your Honor. I'm aware of that the new Chief Justice should be able to really be that face which embodies the ideals of an independent and effective institution. And therefore, it is quite imperative for the Chief Justice to perform well. incumbency now, or my tenure as the Secretary of Justice. I want to be remembered as someone who provided the leadership, the vigor, and the hard work for the institution to be a trusted and respected institution. That's always my aim, even way back in the Commission on Human Rights. The institution as a respected and trusted institution which furthers human rights, or which has for its primary mandate the protection and promotion of human rights. Now that I'm the Secretary of Justice, with the all-encompassing and very broad range of mandates and assignments given to me under the law and under the practical necessities of daily operations, that's what I'm trying to achieve. And to a certain extent, modesty aside, I think with the DOJ, I am able to do that. Much more needs to be done in terms of really further increasing or improving the public's faith in the judicial system. And I would want the same with this institution if blessed enough with the faith, with the trust.
With that in mind, how do you propose to address the serious problem of alleged?
Yes, I agree it's a serious problem.
Yeah.
Actually, well, in preparation for this public interview, I was trying to craft an appropriate vision and mission.
Yes.
Although I have to say that I'm still unable to really craft, in the exact language or words of that vision and mission.
Yeah, take it.
But I do believe that I think if I were to state in broad strokes what my vision would be, I'll focus on two major goals
What are those?
and reforms. Number one is to be able to achieve the ideal of judicial independence in its fullest extent.
Okay.
Now, much has been said, especially in the past months, that it is imperative for us to preserve the independence of the judiciary from outside influence.
Okay.
But I think I need to emphasize that judicial independence does not begin and end with the independence of the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Judicial independence has to be nurtured also in the case of the lower courts.
Yes.
The Supreme Court is the court of last resort.
Yes.
But our lower courts are the first line of defense against injustices. And therefore, especially the lower courts, they're the ones which conduct trials. They're the ones which have the most interaction with the public. They're the ones with the opportunity to be able to do significant impact on society. So since they are the first line of defense against injustices, it is just as crucial that they should be shielded from outside influence. And I say this in practical terms, that I would want to make full use of the fiscal autonomy of the Supreme Court in terms of making sure that none of the members of the judiciary, not only the judges, but the administrative clerks, the staff, and the sheriffs, process servers, they do not have to rely on anyone for their needs, not a single centavo from any one party or non-party, not a single bar of staple wire, or not other benefits from, let's say, from local government units, from certain groups, from even influential practitioners and influential law firms. They should be totally shielded from any outside influence. And therefore, it is important that everything the courts need for their own operations should be provided. That's one point. I have the second one, Paul.
Yes, okay, please.
In broad strokes, again, I think there is a need for a paradigm shift among the members of the judiciary, especially in relation to the concept of public service. We have gotten used to, people have gotten used to really showing so much deference to judges and justices. Fine, nothing wrong with that. The only problem is that there are recipients of such deference which do not to be worthy. Respect is it. So the paradigm shift, it's more now of the steps of account, and humble and dignified service should be at the forefront of any judicial reform. And I do believe that for as long as we address those 2 points that I just articulated on, everything else will fall into place.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Secretary. Good luck. Thank you.
Justice Hermosissima, sir.